What's going on, Assassins? It's Darkstride of the YouTube Assassin, and what you saw is not clickbait. The Assassin's Creed series, particularly number 4, Black Flag, is going to be getting a sequel. However, it is not what we want. It's actually going to be an animated series that kind of tell the further adventures of Edward Kenway. Now, this entry in the series was actually kind of like mixed reviewed. Some people like really hated it. They just didn't see a point to the concept. They thought it was just kind of going off of the vibes and the fame that Pirates of the Caribbean had gotten. But the thing is that for most of us, we actually really did enjoy the game. We loved it immediately. There was a lot going on, and it actually set the pace for a lot of the things that are going on. Even though naval battles started in Assassin's Creed 3, 4 is where it really started to develop, and that's why we have so many things going on as far as like naval battles. Some people really can't stand naval battles, but it was pretty good. This is also, I want to say it's like one of the very last games that actually had a lot of crazy collectibles, animus fragments, things of that nature, although Valhalla kind of brings it back because it does have tattoos that you've got to chase down and things of that nature. So it really did set the pace for like a lot of what was going to be coming down the pipeline as far as the series goes. Now, we don't know what the animated series is going to be about. It's basically going to be most likely his further adventures, although what, I don't know. This is another game that actually had a lot of loose ends that really should have been tied up. If you played through the game, we don't even know how he becomes an assassin. In the very beginning, he literally steals the outfit from an assassin that was going to the Templar side, and somehow he's just an assassin. He's never confirmed, he's never affirmed, he's never brought into the fold. Other assassins actually look at him like, he's a menace or that he doesn't belong and whatnot, particularly the ones that are all around the Caribbean, which is where this game takes place. But there is no actual confirmation that he becomes an assassin. Now, we do know that he is the grandfather of Connor from Part 3. So Edward's son is Haytham, who is Connor's father. We don't know how Haytham came to learn to be an assassin, or how he became an assassin, if he became an assassin, or what happened to Edward Kenway's other children. We don't know anything about that. So maybe we'll see that in what's going on with this animated series. However, this kind of definitely gives us an issue when it comes to this series. I have no problem with any form of media that this is going to spawn. I am good with playing the video games. I am good with watching movies, with watching cartoons, animated series, manga, any sort of graphic novels, comic books, even books that are written about any of the characters from the Assassin's Creed franchise. I have absolutely no problem with that. But where I do have a problem is that we are denied the opportunity to play through the story. We're denied the opportunity to kind of deal with certain things. Now, the animated series, maybe it's just there and it's going to close up a bunch of holes, a bunch of plot holes that happen in Assassin's Creed 4. Maybe that's what the series is going to do, or maybe it's like the further adventures. Maybe it's going to explain all those things that I asked, like about Haytham and how he becomes an assassin, or if Edward himself even gets affirmed into the Brotherhood. I don't know. I would love to see if that's what they do. But I have a very bad taste in my mouth spawning from the point where they took care of Juno in the comic books. Now, if you've been part of the Assassin's Creed franchise from the very beginning, if you've been following it from the very first game, you know that eventually in Ezio's time, we start to understand the Isu. They're the precursors. They're the ones that became before, and they are the ones that basically have all this crazy tech, which is why the Templars and the Assassins are fighting. The Templars want this tech so that they can control the world, control minds, and do all kinds of things like that. And the Assassins are fighting to prevent them from taking over, from altering history. Not by going back in the past, but by actually taking over people's minds and stuff like that. A lot of these things can control, can harm, can kill, can do all kinds of wild things. And that's what the Assassins are trying to avoid. That's where we come from. So Juno was supposed to be this big bad, and they really built her up. They built her up in several games. They started, I want to say it was around, I'm going to say around Brotherhood. Brotherhood is where you started getting deeper into the lore. Revelations, you started understanding more about the Isu. Then we get to 3, and you actually find Juno. Desmond actually interacts with, like, the ghost of Juno. Juno's kind of guiding him and steering him. When we get to 4, you really don't hear much about Juno. But then, when you get to, like, all the other games, they keep talking about her. They keep talking about what a big bad she is and whatnot. And honestly, by the time we got to Assassin's Creed Origins, we were literally supposed to battle her. Those god fights, if you look carefully at them, if you look at the quest, it'll say error whatever number and explain to you that it's an error in the machine. Something is causing that, and something's causing it to manifest in the form of a god. Originally, those fights, those errors, were supposed to be Juno. She was supposed to come into the Animus and really give us the business. And we were supposed to fight back. We were supposed to push back against her, battle inside, Origins, try to get her out of the Animus, so forth and so on. And they ended up screwing us. They ended up giving the fans nothing. We get to Valhalla, or actually we get to Odyssey, and we don't hear anything about Juno. There's no more about her until you go to the Atlanta DLC. And when you get to the Atlantis DLC, it explains again what happened to her, how she was defeated way back in the day, but nothing about her actual demise. That was taken care of in the comic books. Supposedly Desmond had an illegitimate child with some woman in New York while he was bartending. He didn't know that the child was born. The child became a sage, and the child was able to defeat Juno. Juno was trying to recreate her own body. She was trapped in something. She wanted her Desmond's son to go and get the fleece, the robe, whatever that it was called at the time, which is also a piece of Eden, the thing that we hear about in Bible stories and mythology. And it was supposed to be wrapped around her. It was supposed to create a new body for her, meaning that she could come back to life. Why they didn't use that on Desmond, I don't know, but that's what they were going to do. That's how they were going to go along with the story. And what ended up happening was none of that at all. The very next thing we find out is that this kid decided not to use that on her and give her a new body. Instead, he ends up like destroying it, destroying her. She has no more body. She has no more will. There's nowhere she can hide. She disappears into nothingness. And that was the end of Juno. And that was in the comic book. Now, not to slam the comic books, because I by no means want to slam it. If it's a media involving Assassin's Creed, sure. But the thing is, I didn't even know that there was a comic book, and I'm a mega fan of Assassin's Creed. I've got all these Funko Pops, I've got all these like statuettes and stuff like that, figures, Lego figures. I didn't even know that there was an actual Assassin's Creed comic book. Number one, there are no comic book stores in my area, so yeah, I could resort to online stores like Amazon and whatnot, but I mean, where was your advertising for it? I didn't know that the comics were out. I didn't know that that was a thing. And I didn't know that Juno was defeated until somebody in comments, one of my viewers, actually explained it to me, sent me a bunch of links, sent me a bunch of information, and that's how I knew. So now, after that experience, I'm a little leery about what they do when they are outside of the games. Now, the Assassin's Creed movie, as much of a flop as it was, they did that right. And the reason I say they did that right was because it was all new characters. It was different characters that we had not seen. It was the same basic theme: get the apple, Templars, assassins, fight, go. They put all that together. Get in the Animus, go back in time, find this item, this artifact. But they used characters we had not seen, we were not used to, we did not grow an attachment to. Okay? Now, in that coming out, in Origins, they also made it so that Layla was friends with the daughter from the movie, who was the daughter of the Templar, the main Templar that was there. So they were best friends. They have pictures together and everything. You could look on Layla's laptop in Origins, and you could see all those connections. And it was cool. Even the design of the Animus in the movie was Layla's idea. So that was absolutely brilliant that they kind of did it that way, that it wasn't necessary to watch the movie to know what was going on in the game. Even if you didn't watch the movie, you just knew that this was an alternate character and she created whatever. You didn't know anything deep rooted that you should have known. Characters that, you know, had been in the game series, characters that had been defeated or something. They didn't want to make it a direct kind of movie or story based on what was going on in the actual games. So if they were going to do it, they did it the right way. Now, again, this is going to be an animated series. Who knows how it's going to turn out? Honestly, I would have preferred to actually played an actual second game. If they were going to make a Black Flag 2, I would probably play that. The same way that the other day we had the big discussion about if they made a sequel to Odyssey, would you play it? A lot of people said yes. A lot of people said no, though, and the thing was that those who said no felt that other games deserved a sequel more than Odyssey did. And I honestly couldn't blame those people, because their argument were that, you know, we want present time, we want a time where, you know, they're actually assassins, it's assassins versus Templars, it's not Order of the Ancients and people who don't even know what they are. They're not real assassins, they're just attackers, or they're trying to stop this group and everything. Odyssey, honestly, I believe the Odyssey could have been its own IP. It was a good game, it just wasn't a good Assassin's game because things did not fit in. At least in my opinion, they didn't fit in. Anyway, let me know where you stand on this. Do you support them creating a different kind of media that kind of picks up where this game left off? Or would you rather play a Black Flag Part 2? Would you rather have a direct sequel to Black Flag and live it? And if they want to do an animated series or something, kind of make it like side characters or something like that. Something that really, characters you're not really attached to. Maybe one of the other pirates did something and it helped the assassins or something to that level. Maybe, you know, the Taino Indians that were the assassins in the Caribbean here, maybe like a story based off them or something like that. I could see something like that, but I kind of feel like I'm being robbed. I would like to live it. I would like to actually play Black Flag Part 2 or a direct sequel. Again, let me know in the comments below what you think. Other than that, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps this channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. Again, let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys all in the next one. And you know we gotta yeet this.
Yeah, yeet!